Hi everyone, welcome back to Informatica videos. Myself Khadrawali Sheikh. I'm a senior solution architect from Informatica. Today I'm going to demo and discuss on part 2 of Claire generated data classifications. In part 1 we have discussed what is the data classification and generated data classification, how we can view that in a CDGC, how we can enable and where we can enable this. And we discussed how we can curate the association between data elements and generated data classification. And we also saw how we can handle the generated data classification through UI in CDGC. As part of part 2, I'm going to discuss more on how we can handle this by using a bulk upload sheet to perform bulk operations. Without further ado, let's dive into the demo. By the way, if you missed the part 1 video, please go watch it. It is available in Informatica YouTube videos. Let's say you want to review all the data elements from a particular catalog source, which have hundreds of recommendations from the Claire. In that case, going one by one record or picking a handful of records and doing the validation through UI may not be a good option because it takes a time and you will not be able to perform multiple actions like acting on the multiple records in one go. You will not be able to do it. You have to go to that record or the generated data classification, and you need to perform promote or reject to convert that status into accepted or rejected. So we have another way of performing that bulk operations through bulk upload sheet. Now let's take a look at how we can do that. Is by using a bulk upload sheet, you can update the records as many as you want in one go by selecting the update operation. Now let's take a look at this Microsoft SQL Server catalog source, and there's all the recommended recommendations from the Claire we have got associated with the data elements. Let's export this and review this sheet, and let's perform some bulk operations by choosing more than 10 records or so, and let's see how that takes action. We need to query the results with this one, data elements with any generated classification in catalog source and the catalog source name. Once we did a search query here, we can see all the search results, and this is how we can export this search results. Click on settings button and click on export, and you will see a file name here. You can change this file name with any name that you want to better identification. And then once you give the name, you can click on the start export. I have already done this. Let me show you how it will be. So I have exported with the generated data classification, and this is my resource name. So let me open this. So this is how the sheet will be. We have the table of contents and one tab with technical data elements and another with the column and another column with a view column. So basically column and view column are the extra tabs which will have the same details what we have in this technical data elements. This is just a separation of between the types of the columns. Now let's review this. This is a reference ID and the name of the column and catalog source that is part of, and the catalog source type. And this is the table or the data set it is part of. And here it tells the asset type, which is a column or a view column, and the description of this column. So these are the columns that we are going to work with. Classification recommended. So all the recommendations from Claire will be captured in this column. And if you accept that, those will be appear here. If you reject it, any classification, right, it will be here. So we will pick a handful of records from this sheet, and then let's perform some accepted. Let's promote them to accepted state. Let's review this sheet a little bit. We want to act on the only on the recommendations. So in that case, right, we can ignore the records which has the classification already in the accepted states. So let's use some filters and to get the record that we want. We will take the records only which has recommendations. And we can also skip the records which already have some classifications which are accepted, because we have exported all the data element classifications which are associated with the generated classifications, of which we may have acted a few of the records. That's why you see this on the accepted states. So let's skip those records which we already acted through UI. So now we have all the recommendations, and here we don't see any acceptance or rejection, meaning that we are yet to take the decision on these records. So we have filtered 615 records out of 879. To make it very simple, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a particular table so that we can review the data elements from that particular table, and then we can perform some action on this. So I'm reviewing which table to take. So let's take this employee table. So from employee, we have 10 records. Let's review them. So I'll take this column name. So let's go to this resource. Like it got timed out. Let's log in back again. And we can go to this table directly to the employee table. Right. And we can go to the fields and we can look for the field that we want to verify. So this is that we want to verify, and it has this generated classification. Let's review a few more data elements or the fields. It has it. So we see the recommended labels on the data generated data classification here. Now we need to take a action it by promoting or rejecting this. So let's see how we can do that. Let's try to accept this. What I'll do is, so whenever you see the columns faded out, meaning that these are the system columns and you will not be able to perform anything on this. So these columns are faded out, meaning that these are disabled. You will not be able to perform any actions. Whenever you see these columns like this, those are like editable and you can perform the actions on those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these recommendations and put it to the accepted classification so that it will, the status on this will get into the accepted. Let's see how this works. Then once done, you can save this. One more thing is whenever you are using a bulk upload sheet and trying to update some records, just keep those records in the sheet, because even if you did not made any updates on the other records, it will take as a update operation. So just try to keep the information which you're acting upon and remove all this. So because we are doing a update operation here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up this sheet by just keeping this 10 records, and I'm going to delete all the other records from it because it makes up the upload job simple. And I'm also going to delete this column tab and view column tab, because these are the same records we are covering here, so we don't need it. Now I have modified the sheet and removed the unnecessary tabs, and this is how the final output looks. So this is the table of content, and then the technical data element sheet, whatever we are going to update, I kept those records here. So let's save this and try to upload back to CDGC, and let's see what happens. Back to CDGC, a new import assets, import. So we are going to select the add files, and this is the sheet that we are going to upload, and we are trying to update 10 records in one shot. This is done, and click on a start import. And these are the various options. I want to stop if there is any error occurs. So this one, click on start import, and this bulk upload process will start. This will take a few minutes, and let's wait and review the results. Process is kicked off, and we can see some progress here. This process is completed now, but looks like this job is failed. Let's review why this failed. Let's click on this sheet to generate the error information sheet. Let's review it. Okay. So the error information will be on all the way to the right. Let's go to that. We have this recommended and accepted. Okay. Reason for failure or skipping. The asset entered in the classification column cannot be found. Oh, yes. Remember what we have done in through UI when we are, want to accept the association between data element and generated classification, we promoted it. So to accept the association, first of all, we need to have that classification created and available in CDGC. Here in our case, we just have that recommendation and we want to accept that. And that's why we kept this classification name here and accepted. So whenever we keep this, what the sheet thinks is this classification is already created and available in CDGC. But in our case, it's just a recommendation. We haven't promoted, meaning that we haven't created this classification. So it is unable to find this classification record and associated with this data element classification. Right? This makes sense. So meaning that through the bulk upload sheet, we cannot turn the status on the data elements association into accepted because we haven't promoted this. So for this, what we can do is we need to go to the UI. We need to promote that generated classification so that all of them associated will be get into accepted state. Now through bulk upload, what we can do that. So we cannot promote, but can we reject? Let's see, what we can see, what we can do here. Now let's try to, update these records and try to reject this association via bulk upload sheet. See that works. So previously what we have done is we tried to accepted this. Now what I'm going to do this, I'm going to take all this classification and move to rejected because I want to reject all this association and see that it works. So again, we're going to act on 10 records in one shot, right? Let's give a shot and see what happens. So if this is successfully completed, what the expectation from the result is, we should see this tagging should get removed from this. So whatever the labeling we see on this generator classification, that label should get removed if this successfully, if the operation that whatever we are trying to do is successful. Let's see that. Go back and try to save this and upload back. Save this, close the sheet. Add files. Good. Start. On error. Let's get the process. So again, this is going to take a few minutes. Let's wait and review. This process is successfully completed now. We can see the result here. 0 created and 10 records updated. So all the records that we try to update has been successfully completed now. Now let's review these columns which we previously saw the labeling tagging here. So since we rejected this, the expectation is to these should be get removed from this place. Let's refresh this record. Yes, this is removed. This is removed. So this is removed. So via using a bulk upload sheet, we can still pick up multiple records or a bulk records of maybe hundreds or thousands, and you can still perform the rejection. That will eliminate the association between the data element and then generate data classification. Now let's see how we can manage the recommendations from Claire using a bulk upload sheet. So previously we have seen the queries to see all the recommendations from Claire and the classifications. Let's use those queries one more time and see this, how many records we have. So generator classifications which are promoted, meaning that it's already promoted. We have 12 records. We don't need to take any action on this. Let's see how many we have which are in a pending state or which yet to be get promoted. So we have altogether 820 in my organization, which we need to validate. Let's export all of these and see how we can perform the bulk operations that we can update multiple or many records in one go on these generated data classifications. Let's export these search results. Click on settings wheel, click export, and you can give a name. And so job will be submitted. You can see this job here. So this takes few minutes. Let's wait and review. This job is completed now. Let's download the export file and review it. So we have this table of contents, generated classification, the reference ID, name of the classification, life cycle, and curation status. So, and operation is update created by this one. So we have seen all these columns faded out except curation status. because those are all the system columns, and we can use this curation status to act on these records. So let's see what we have here. So we only see rejected option here, meaning that we can only reject the general data classification. But now we learned that promotion of a generated data classification is only possible through UI, because by promoting it, we are creating it. So we don't have an option to accept the generated classification in a bulk mode. That feature is coming up in a 2024, I believe, in a Q1. So for now, we have the option to reject all the generated data classification, which you feel that the association between the data elements and then data classification is not matching or invalid. So in that case, you can select all those generated classifications and you can reject them. So what happens once you reject the generated classification, the association between the data elements and then the label, data classification label, will be get removed. So let's pick a bunch of records and try to reject that, and then review how the results in the CDGC will change. I have reviewed the generated classification labels and choose the few of these, which I feel that these are the incorrect labels or doesn't make any sense. So I want to reject all these labelings. And as I said in a previous bulk upload, I'm going to take off the other records which I don't want to touch. So I'm going to clean up this sheet a little bit. Cleaned up this sheet and then updated the curation status to rejected. Now when we upload this sheet to CTGC, what will happen is, so we see the generated classifications which are not promoted is 820 results. So when we successfully upload that file and those 9 classifications get rejected, right? We should see the count changing to 811. And we have picked one record to see how this current association looks. So this one currently associated with the 3 data elements. So let's check them. So we see it here. Once successfully rejected, we will see this, this tagging get removed here. So let's go back and upload the sheet. Else. Start the process. We just submitted the job. This process is successfully completed now. We see 9 records got updated. Now let's query and see, the count here. So previously we had 820, out of which we rejected 9. So you see the number changing here. So meaning that 9 generated data classifications has been removed from this arc. Now let's take a look at this generated classification associated. Previously we see this tagging here. Since we rejected it, now we should not see this. They should be get removed from this. Done. So this is also should be removed. So we don't see anything here because it is removed. So this way you can handle the generated classification by Claire using a bulk upload sheet. Before wrap up, I want to give one more tip using the bulk upload sheet. That is, so when you have these data elements exported, right, by using a bulk upload sheet, you can not only just work on the classifications, you can also work on the glossaries. So for suppose if you want to use this sheet to update glossaries in one go, you can put all the glossaries which you want to associate it with the data elements here. Or if you want to reject anything like a curation process, you can update these. And the same thing applies on the classifications also. So previously we have seen that when we put the classification names and accepted, it rejected because those are not created yet. but you can absolutely use all the classification names which you have created in your R, and you can mention it here so that it will be associated with the data elements. Again, faded out columns or system columns will not be able to update anything on these. So you can update only all those columns which you see like this. So this is today's demo. Before I close this, I want to show you some useful search queries and data classifications. So these are some search queries very helpful when you want to retrieve some details related to data classifications or general data classifications and catalog records. Hope you like this demo and it was helpful for you. We like to hear the feedback from you. You can send the email to this. And thanks for giving the opportunity. We'll come back with another topic. Thank you.